Mazda's upcoming rear-wheel drive platform with inline-six engines is on our doorstep. And according to nearly half of the Lexurious Fleet, you guys would pick a sporty, upscale, rear-wheel drive Mazda crossover compared to its main competitors. Today, I'm happy to give you the freshest, juiciest details and the latest when it comes to Mazda's rear-wheel drive inline-six Evolution. Lexurious Fleet, welcome back. Smash the like button if rear-wheel drive and inline-sixes sing to your heart like zoom zoom. Okay, that was pretty lame, but let's get into this article. Over at Autoblog, Mazda's upcoming inline-six rear-wheel drive platform detailed by suppliers. Here's a huge bombshell. Production will begin in 2022. Engines will have 3 to 3.3 liters, and I've heard early 2022. So that could be best case scenario a year from today, but I'm not getting my hopes up that much. Now, in that production in 2022, they will produce about 300,000 units, which is less than 20% of Mazda's global sales, which makes a lot of sense to me. They don't need to have their full lineup into the luxury segment, in my opinion. That's too much too fast. And they're expecting that 20% or so goal to be met by 2025 of the higher end vehicles. So we've heard this report before, but here it is again. They will have inline-six engines of 3 liters to 3.3 liters. And I believe the 3.3 liter would be the diesel engine. And guys, don't worry. We'll get into the spreadsheet and we'll cover all of these potential powertrains and their power outputs and efficiencies as well. And they are assuming a turbocharged version to follow. Twin turbo, fingers crossed. The first cars to be produced on this new platform will be SUVs. Now, they were originally intended to replace the CX-5 and CX-8. We don't get the CX-8 here. It is an Asian product, but we get the CX-9, which is the third row, a little bit bigger version of the CX-8. I don't think we'll ever see a CX-8 here, to be honest. Now, here's another bombshell. Nikkei Asia, the original source of this information, says they will be sold alongside existing models. So you would have a CX-5 and a CX-50, a CX-9 and a CX-90. I don't know if they would do a Mazda 6 and a Mazda 60. I think they would just get rid of the Mazda 6 and have a flagship full-size sedan. That's my theory. I just don't think there's enough room in today's sedan market to have two large sedans. I'll see you guys on the comments on that. Now, these new cars will also be priced significantly higher than existing models. Mazda is seeking to cut costs by expanding its supplier base to non-Japanese firms. Now, I would expect the build quality to be even better on those higher priced models. They would have to be, but maybe the components, since they're not Japanese sourced, who knows? Maybe they're going to get cheap on the components. Now, that rest of the Nikkei article is not very hopeful. They talk about the failure of the Mazda 3. It's doing terrible worldwide. The Skyactiv X implementations are not well received, and sales were down about 8% for the global market. Although here in the United States, it did really, really well compared to pretty much everyone else. They were pretty much even on the year, which is phenomenal. And heading over to the spreadsheet where I'm going to talk about all these inline-sixes and, of course, the current power plants that are obviously in today's market. We have a 2-liter Skyactiv G, which is on the MX-5 with a little bit more horsepower, but we also see it on the Mazda 3 now. It's a new base model. 2.5-liter Skyactiv G is the most common engine here in the United States with about 186 horsepower. See it in a lot of different models. The Skyactiv G Turbo is phenomenal. If you want to see my impressions on it, definitely watch my review on the Mazda 6. 250 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque if you put premium fuel in it. Now, the 2-liter Skyactiv X, we don't get in America. It's been not well received. I haven't driven it. Apparently, people are not getting the amount of efficiency that it's rated to get. So in theory, it could get up to 55 miles per gallon in a small Mazda 2 or Mazda 3, something like that. But I don't think people are able to get that quite of efficiency out of it. Don't know if we'll ever see this come to America either because it's pretty darn pricey. It all depends on how strict emissions get and how fast those emissions regulations come down the hatch. Now, here we are into these inline-six engines that this article is talking about. We're all excited for. 3-liter Skyactiv X, inline-six. We would see 282 horsepower and potentially 265 pound-feet of torque. Now, it's quite possible that they could have a 3-liter non-Skyactiv X inline-six that's not a mild hybrid. that's not supercharged, which all these Skyactiv X's, by the way, are mild hybrids and supercharged. If we are to get an inline-six non-Skyactiv X, maybe has a little bit less horsepower, a little bit less efficiency, I could see them bringing that option to America to keep costs down potentially. Now, this 3-liter Skyactiv G Turbo is what a lot of us would just die for. Essentially, it would be a Japanese version of the BMW inline-six that we see in the Supra, pretty much in all the BMWs. It would be a Japanese version of that engine if we get turbo or twin turbo variant of the Skyactiv inline-six, minimum 325 horsepower and 400 pound-feet torque. They could always twin turbo that and the numbers just shoot to the moon and back. Now, it could also be seen in Lexus products. That's a rumor. I don't know if that's going to be true or not, but this would be seen in the CX-90 or whatever they call it, or the CX-50, probably the upcoming Mazda 6 rear-wheel drive platform. Cannot wait. Now, what about a 3-liter or 3.3-liter Skyactiv diesel inline-six? I just don't know which markets they'll be able to bring it into. They quietly killed the Skyactiv D here in America on the CX-5, so I don't know what's going to happen to a Skyactiv diesel inline-six for most markets in the world. What's going to happen in terms of electrification? Well, they have their range extender as the rotary engine. So we know that's coming down the hatch. We know the MX-30 is coming to America. I made a whole video on that. Definitely watch that if you're interested in their near-term electrification. But in my opinion, for these platforms to have legs, meaning for them to last a long time, they need to be able to swap out gasoline powertrains and replace them with battery electric powertrains, or at least plug-in hybrid powertrains at the very minimum. Without that electrification plug-and-play philosophy with this rear-wheel drive platform, I don't know how long it could last. 5 years, maybe 10 years before things start cracking down on it with sanctions and fines, regulations, everyone's favorite things when it comes to the killing of the internal combustion engine. And also, you guys in the comments, are you excited? I'm definitely excited. I'm very curious more than anything. I don't know how expensive these models are going to be. I don't know if Mazda dealerships will be able to sell them. This is a luxury product through and through. It's going to be priced as a luxury product. Do they have the luxury dealership experience? We know Genesis is struggling with that right now. It's a little concerning. However, I think the product will be great. Time will tell. I'm a little nervous. Definitely excited for Mazda and their upcoming vehicles. And I got a couple nuggets on other things in the industry before I let you guys go. Toyota Australia and BHP announced pilot trial of converted electric vehicle. They're converting a Land Cruiser 70 series to work in the mines in Western Australia at a nickel mine, which, you know, nickel's used for a lot of things, but especially batteries nowadays. So they're using a battery electric converted 70 series Land Cruiser. It is just a one-off. We don't have any specs on battery size or acceleration. It doesn't need to accelerate that fast in the mines. There's nowhere to go, but we don't really have any specs. However, I'm assuming it's all-wheel drive. They're probably e-axles on the front and the rear. Very interesting. I wanted to share that with you guys. Of course, it's not going to be available for sale to the common people anytime soon. And then over at Spider 7, we have some spy pics of the upcoming Honda Civic hatchback. And to me, it looks very Honda Accord-ish. It also looks very European, which the upcoming Honda Civic is definitely going to look that. And then lastly, the HRV has been spied again. I believe it was spied back in September, but it has been spied again over at Car and Driver here. This is not what I was expecting, really, from an HRV. Look at this thing. It looks like a mini Volkswagen Atlas, in my opinion. Just shrunk down. The ground clearance is noticeably high. Maybe it's just the design of the vehicle that it looks really high. I don't know, but there's your upcoming HRV. You still have the door handles on the window edge of the door there. And I think we see that design in the CHR. Similar, not the vertical. The CHR kind of has a horizontal handle, if I remember right, or a diagonally sloped handle. Well, this one's very vertical. Still going to have a CVT more than likely. They're going to be retiring the 1.8 liter inline 4-cylinder that's super old. They'll be replacing with the Civic's 2 liter. So that'll be nice to get a little bit more power, a lot more efficiency and sophistication out of this new HRV. And guys, I'll end it there. Holy smokes. Can't wait for Mazda's rear-wheel drive upscale cars. A little worried. Will they be able to sell it? Will there be a niche enough market? Will there be a desire for these vehicles when they come? Mazda's got to definitely do some risky things to stay alive as a company. Going sporty might be the answer for them. Going upscale might be the answer for them. Time will tell. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you've made it this far into the video and you're not. I need your help to get to 100,000. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Peace out.